All right, whenever you're ready.
Yep.
Okay, so there are a couple of things about the deadlift that I consider to be fundamental. Everyone's going to look a little different deadlifting, but as long as you follow these fundamental steps in the setup, you'll be fine. So we have a plate on, 135 pounds. When approaching the bar, when approaching the deadlift, oh my God, it's moving. Okay, we'll wait for it to settle.
I think you gotta tuck this
That's
one
good
back.
enough. It's good enough.
Okay.
Good enough. It's settled. Okay, so when approaching the bar, we do not move the bar. That's number one rule. We do not move the bar, period. The bar only moves in one direction, and that's up. It does not go forward, it does not come back. We will not touch the bar first. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set up our feet. So you wanna make sure that when approaching the bar, you walk to the bar, and you set up in the middle of your feet. Now, in terms of, before we talk about where it needs to be in the middle of your foot, we got to talk about hip stance. So I prefer a relatively narrow hip width stance. So just around my hips. You can see from here, and you can see my hips over here. So I'm pretty much just at hip width. Most of the time, the rule of thumb is your stance should be where you feel strongest, having the highest vertical jump. So if you have a really high vertical jump from here, great. If you're one of those weird people that can have a very high vertical jump from here, great. Then your stance should be here. I'm about here. So this is where I'm gonna be. Walk towards the bar, and you wanna make sure that the bar is directly over the middle of your foot. Now, most people, when you're looking down and judging this for yourself, you're gonna think this is the middle of your foot, okay? But then you're just forgetting the fact that you have a heel. Right? So the middle of your foot's actually pretty close to your ankles. And if you want to have a rule of thumb, if you will, 2 fingers, it should be about 2 finger lengths away from your shins. So you set up, you walk into the bar, you make sure that the bar's over the middle of your foot, about 2 finger lengths away from your shins, and you twist your feet, you have your feet pointing slightly outwards. Again, remember why we point our feet slightly outwards, it engages the hips. Next thing you want to do is grab the bar. But before we do that, next thing you want to do is actually bring your shins to the bar by lowering your hips. So the reason why it's important to set up your feet first is because, and to make sure that you're about 2 finger lengths away, shin-wise, is because, like I said, we're all going to look a little different when we deadlift, but the fundamentals are the same. Now we need to figure out what is the optimal height or depth of our hips, right? So in order to figure that out, what you want to do is take your hands, put them on your hips, and actively push your hips out until you can't anymore. Now that they're out, now start to lower them while actively trying to keep your knees back. At some point, that's not going to work, because the lower my butt goes, the more it's going to push, my hamstrings are going to tighten, and it's going to push my knees forward. As soon as that happens, my shins touch, that's it. That's as low as I need to be. Anything lower than this is suboptimal. You're just doing this unnecessary, you're doing too much work and your hips aren't tight enough. Higher than this, and you're gonna put way too much strain on your lower back. And your hips will not properly help you out of the hole or engage. So again, whether you put your hands here, you do something like this, you basically wanna put your hips back, let your knees bend, back, until the shins touch. Now the shins are touching, I wanna grip the bar just outside of my knees. Just like that. Not in front. Your elbows should not be interfering with your knees. So just outside. So I'm going to do a hook grip. And again, no pushing out. It's touching your shin. The bar's not going to break through your shin. So push the bar against the shins. Wear high socks. Put on knee sleeves, whatever, to protect your shin so you don't think about the pain. But grip it and pull it actively through yourself. A deadlift, when performed correctly, if you did not have the bar, it would look really stupid. It would look like this. Okay? It'll look really stupid. Yeah. So that's how aggressively you need to be pulling the bar into yourself. The reason we do this is we want to get our, so it's a hip hinge movement. Your lats, your rear delts, your traps are being engaged isometrically, which means they don't move. They're just there to hold the weight. Your arms are like chains, your hands are like hooks. So in order to avoid, like when lifting something, you want to make sure that the distance between the bar and your body is minimal or non-existent. In order to keep everything locked, you want to have your lats, and in order to engage your lats, the best cue is pull the bar into yourself. And then that's it, just lock it there. Let your hips and your hamstrings do the rest of the work and your lower back. So again, pull it. So once I grip it, I can pull it into myself, I just can't push it away. Grip it nice and hard, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is, bring my scapula together, pull my shoulders back, and get my upper back as high as possible by taking the slack out of the bar, like this. And you'll notice that the bar is a little in front of my shoulders. That's where you want it to be. It needs to be directly under the shoulder blade, the shoulder joint, sorry, which is over here, not the shoulder muscle. So again, I'm not tight right now, I'm just tightening my hands. Now I'm going to tighten my upper back. And from here, I'm now going to execute the lift by pushing the ground away. This is important. You don't lift it by pulling, you lift it by pushing the ground away. Bring your hips forward. Not too far forward, no exaggerating forward, just that's it. This is lockout. This is hyperextension. This is lockout, that's it. And now to lower the weight, to do multiple reps, you throw your hips back. You don't do this. This is inefficient, then you're gonna feel your lower back, okay? You do this. Remember, your arms are like hooks, okay? So you throw your hips back. It should fall in the same position. If it doesn't, feel free to reset, okay? And then go again. And another good cue is bend the bar around yourself. So when you're lifting, I can tighten my upper back without engaging my triceps. You actually want your triceps to be flexed. You accomplish that by bending the bar around yourself. So again. A note on breathing. Take a huge belly breath before you execute the lift, and then you can exhale at the top. Before you lower the bar, take another big belly breath, because when we brace, we keep our lower back safe. Now before I go down, another one. That's it.